Hi everyone, it's Andrea. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing something a bit different and I'll be talking about the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started bullet journaling. So let's get started with the video. The first thing is that you don't really need to get all of that stationery when you're first starting out. I know it can be tempting to just be like, oh, I want to start bullet journaling, so I'm gonna go out and get 100 different colored gel pens and brush pens and all of the washi tapes and all of that. But honestly, you don't really need those. Because honestly, that's something that happened to me. I really wanted to try out lots of different materials, and instead of buying only 1 or 2 pens of each kind, I bought like different colored packs. And honestly, I didn't even use them as much. I only used the stationery that I really loved and I feel comfortable using. So what I recommend is trying out different materials by themselves, probably just getting 1 or 2 pieces, or maybe going to an art store and see if they have testers available and decide if you like those markers. And once that you actually decide that you love them, start getting the colors that you use the most and you feel like you will need, instead of getting lots and lots of stationery. Because if we're being honest, the only thing that we need for bullet journaling is only a notebook, either blank, lined, or dotted, or whatever you feel comfortable with, and the essential is only a black pen or a black fine liner or something like that. But it's definitely fun to add lots of colors and stuff like that. So try to find out what works for you, and once that you find it, start building up your collection instead of just mindlessly buying tons and tons of stuff that will probably end up collecting dust in a shelf like some of my supplies did. So don't make the same mistake that I did. The second thing is that your style may be different from everyone else's, and that is perfectly okay. When we're first starting out in the bullet journaling world, maybe you take inspiration from Instagram or Pinterest and you're just surfing through that sea of ideas showing up in your social media, and you might be thinking, wow, they make all of those super elaborate spreads, or maybe the complete opposite, super minimalistic spreads, only lines and 1 simple color, but yours is nothing like them. And that is perfectly okay. Something that I love about bullet journaling is that you are completely free to create whatever works for you. You don't have to follow like a set standard. You can just go and create whatever you like. So don't feel bad if your style looks completely different from what you see online. It's perfectly great to find your own unique style and to just do what you love and what you feel works as a creative outlet and express your ideas through bullet journaling. Now, something related to the last thing that I said is that finding your style might take a lot of time, and that is also fine. When I first started bullet journaling, it took me like a 1.5 years of constantly making spreads, finding different layouts, moving things around with the lettering and all of that. And I finally found what I feel is my personal bullet journaling style that even now it still changes. And it's a long process, or probably you'll do it even quicker. But for me, it was a really long process, and it was really frustrating sometimes to see all of those accounts on Instagram who had a really set and defined style, and I still couldn't find mine. But there shouldn't be any pressure to find your own style. As I said, bullet journaling is something that is completely free for you to create whatever you feel like. And also, bullet journaling is meant to be something that adapts to you, your lifestyle, and the things that you like to create. So try out different ideas, try out different spreads and materials and all of that, and you'll slowly find out what works for you and what doesn't. And soon you'll be making spreads effortlessly, just doing what feels natural to you and what works for you the best. The fourth thing, and it's something that I personally learned during the past few months, it was my first semester of uni, and it is that it's okay to fall off track sometimes. I feel like there's this constant pressure to always be consistent with bullet journaling, making your weeklies at the start of each week, filling out habit trackers, having a perfectly kept calendar, always looking back to your spreads, and creating your monthly setup at the start of every month. And there are some times where that's not gonna be possible, and there is nothing wrong with that. For example, for me, I was extremely busy during the past few months, and I actually only used my bullet journal consistently for August and September. For October, I only made the cover page and tried to do it weekly, but I didn't even use it. November, kind of the same thing, except I did one weekly for that month. And December, again, I just did a cover page because I always thought that I was gonna get back on track, and it didn't happen. I felt kind of bad about going off track and not staying consistent, because that also meant that I couldn't be creating content for my Instagram account. But then I realized that it's okay to have different priorities at different moments of your life. There are some times where your focus is gonna be somewhere else, and you shouldn't feel bad about it or guilty even, because that kind of happened to me. Bullet journaling is meant to be something that you enjoy and that works for you to make your life. It shouldn't be something that you're just putting a lots of pressure on yourself to stay consistent and to do it every single week, and if at a certain moment it doesn't work for you, then there's no reason for you to do it. Just do it whenever you feel like it, when you feel like it will make your life easier, when you feel like you need a creative outlet, and just whenever it makes you happy and works for you. And if there is a set moment in time in which it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with that. The fifth thing is that there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. And there are lots of times where you can make a mistake, even if it's just a crooked line or writing the dates wrong, adding an extra day of the week, or whatever, because those mistakes have happened to me lots of times. And sometimes we might feel like, oh my god, I messed up, this spread isn't good anymore. But it's perfectly fine to make mistakes. It happens to all of us, and we shouldn't feel bad about those. And bullet journaling, as I've said many times before, it's meant to be something for you to enjoy, not something that you feel constantly stressed about making it perfect. And it is also part of the process of finding our own style and what works for us. For example, during my 2022 setup, I made a first cover page that I didn't really like, and then I turned it into something completely different, which you can see in the clips showing on screen right now. And it's something that you can, and making mistakes can also be something good, because it can be a way of finding different ideas, exploring different opportunities of finding your own creative style, trying out different media, for example, craft paper of different scrapbook materials. So making mistakes can also be a good thing, and you shouldn't be punishing yourself for them. That's all for the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started bullet journaling, but I also wanted to add an extra bonus one. And it is that bullet journaling might not work for you, and that is perfectly okay. We are all different, we all have different lifestyles and organization methods that work for us. For example, there are people that really enjoy digital organization with things like Notion or Google Calendar, or there are people who love the structure of a pre-made agenda. Each one of us finds the different things that adjust for us and our lifestyle. And there really is no reason to force yourself to make something work. Bullet journaling is meant to be something that helps your lifestyle, and it should adapt into it to make it easier, not the other way around. So if you're looking to get into bullet journaling, then I definitely recommend to give it a go and see if it works for you. Trying different methods, different layouts, and if after trying for a while you still feel like it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't make you happy or make your life easier, then it's fine to go look for a different organization system that isn't bullet journaling. There is nothing wrong with that. Just do what makes you happiest and what feels right for you. So that was all for this video. I really hope that you liked it and that it was helpful for you in any way. And if you did like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And see you next time. Bye!